Hello people, welcome back to the channel CrustG-G, where today we're going to be continuing adding additional things to the TV and movie mass multiverse chart. So let's get into it. First, starting off with this one, there's one thing I have to change or move around. Just gonna... Here's Lucy actually connects to make room for granddaddy, not make room for daddy. And apparently, well, let's see if I can make some room for that up here. Gonna backspace that. And down here, move it over a little bit. There we go. It's actually pretty good. But you know, also, I'm gonna move this like here a little bit. Click this. Okay. Alright, after fixing that, here's Lucy also connects to the show called, I think it's Mannix? I think that's what it's called. In the episode that they crossed over in, it was on Here's Lucy. And Mannix was hired to protect Lucy because she saw some robbers doing something in a house across the street or something. Something like that. So, just Mannix 1967. Gonna open, yeah, that's good. Like that. Move down a bit, doesn't need to be that far out. Another thing that's connecting to Here's Lucy is the show called The Honeymooners. This character called Jack Benny, I think, rents out a room in his home for Lucy and her friends, or family, something, and then charges them for every little thing that they could possibly do. So, why do I always look at the bottom for these? It's called Honeymooners from 1955. Honeymooners up there. And here's another thing. that I have to fix. Apparently, the Lucy show and Here's Lucy are the same thing, are the same show, just with different... Whoops, too far. Just with different names. So, between seasons they changed to the title. So, just there. That's why I also moved Lucy show like that. Moving on. Mannix also connects to Diagnosis Murder. Duh, that's on the screen. Diagnosis Murder was on air long after Mannix was canceled or stopped airing. Whatever happened, maybe the show ended, whatever. But years after that, they continued a plot line from Mannix on Diagnosis Murder. Where Mannix also makes a comeback in that episode. Why am I putting in Mannix? Diagnosis Murder. From 1993. So Mannix went on to Diagnosis Murder. Higher there. After that, Diagnosis Murder connects to Jake and the Fat Man. Apparently, Diagnosis Murder is a spin-off of Jake and the Fat Man. Maybe the doctor was a regular on the show, and they spun it off into Diagnosis Murder. That sounds like it would be about right. From 1987. What? Stop that. Seems good. Up next is the 1966 Mission Impossible series, connecting to Diagnosis Murder. So a character on Diagnosis Murder called Jesse Travis, I think, finds out that his dad's spy, and then while they do have different characters from this show, different actors from this show show up, they don't play their characters, but one of them does. A character called Cinnamon Carter. Again, I don't know these shows. If anybody does, you'll know what I'm talking about. but I really don't. But anyways. And I really don't know how far the Mission Impossible stuff connects to each other, aside from, well, one other thing. In 1966, maybe I'll move that over. Come on. Okay, I have to... Now, I normally don't connect things like this, but since I had to move this towards where this one was anyways, I just decided, why not? I'm only going to connect different things to where they're in this, not every single connection that can be made. The character went on to diagnosis murder, so that's where that goes. Up next, also connecting to diagnosis murder, is Promised Land. Promised Land from 1996. It was a crossover event. A plot line carries over from... Well, it was one big storyline. Started on Promised Land, moving on over to Diagnosis Murder, or vice versa. But on here, I have the arrow going from Promised Land to Diagnosis Murder. So, it's over here. Brain, remember stuff. (1996) This way. Also, move it up a little bit more. Moving on, back to Jake and the Fat Man. That also connects to a show called Matlock, which, I guess, Jake and the Fat Man is a spin-off of Matlock, so there's another spin-off there. Let's see. There's some room up there, but there's also not that much room over there. Never mind. I'll just go up. From 1986. Well, they didn't waste any time spinning this off. Matlock 2. Wait a second. Messed that one up. Moving on. Another diagnosis murder. I'm moving. Wait, no. I'm just misreading my notes. Okay. Here we go. From Matt. Now is the 1988 revival series Mission Impossible. It takes place years after the original series. different characters are children of the originals, aside from, I believe, this guy who was giving everybody their missions and still is. So, yeah. $1988. Come on. There. There we go. Up next, Touched by an Angel, from 1994. Connects to Promised Land because, well, Promised Land is a spin-off of Touched by an Angel. I think I'll make it go upwards. $1994. There we go. Okay, after that, we're going back again to the Dick Van Dyke Show. How am I going to cram even more in there? I don't know. Okay. Let's try this. Okay, I'll delete this. Bring it over here. Fix this one, just move it down a bit. Like this. The Dick Van Dyke Show connects to Herman's Head. The characters Buddy and Sally show up from the Dick Van Dyke Show onto Herman's Head and write jokes for Herman. I don't know how many more Herman connects to, so right now I'm just going to use this open space. I'll fix it up later if I need to. From 1991. There we go. Oops. That. These characters went out to this show. There. What am I doing? Better. There. Just raise that up a bit. There we go. Okay. After that, there come a few shows that are made by the same person called, I only put one name. A guy named Kelley, last name I believe, which I think people call the Kelley universe, Kelley, because Cheers connects to this this isn't one of the shows, but the next one is. Cheers connects to Boston Legal, which is one of Kelley's shows. The Lillian Corporation from Cheers is mentioned in Boston Legal at some point, and the restaurant above the bar in Cheers is shown or mentioned on this show as well. Okay, I will move these ones out a bit and put it right here. Actually, not right here, because it's gonna connect to a few more things, unlike those. Boston Legal from 2004. Yeah, the stuff went out to that show. And now, coming right from Boston Legal is The Practice, because Boston Legal is a spin-off of The Practice. So, Practice from 1997. There we go. Now, again, from Boston Legal, moving on to Boston Public. I believe it's a show about a school. Yeah, high school. So the principal from that school shows up on Boston Legal for some legal help regarding free speech in his school. Boston Public. That's 200. Goes on to Boston Legal. There we go. This one up a bit. We're good. Dang it, I'm gonna actually... Shoot, what? Undo that. I'm gonna delete that. Boston Public is gonna go down here. Come on. There. After that, again, connected to Boston Legal, is show called Mismatch. Happened on the show Boston Legal. A character called Judge Isabel Hernandez comes onto the show from, I guess, Mismatch onto Boston Legal. So... from 2003. A little bit bigger. There we go. On to Boston Legal. And next we are connecting things to the practice. Couple things. First one is Ally McBeal. It was a pretty big, I guess, crossover event. The plot started on Ally McBeal and continued on, or ended on the practice. So because the characters from the practice showed up on Ally McBeal first, the arrow will be going from the practice to Ally McBeal. From 1997. Yeah. There was also this kind of spin-off of Ally McBeal that it barely qualifies, and I'm not gonna put it on here. It's just called Ally, which showed shorter segments of the show. This was like an hour long. They wanted to cut it down to half an hour with just some scenes that they threw out from the original, so not really that big of a deal. Basically the same show, just kind of worse. Anyways, again from the practice, moving on to Gideon's Crossing. It was another crossover event. Over here. He had a character from the practice, on the practice, getting help from, I want to say Gideon, but I'm not entirely sure, from like the main doctor on Gideon's Crossing, with help for pregnancy complications. So, open. 2000. So the character went on to this show, even though it happened in their territory. You know, this place was shown on this show. The character was on this show. Stuff like that, I think. I'm not entirely sure, but it happened on this show. Now we're going back up here to MASH. MASH connects to one of its own spin-offs, obviously, called After MASH. Obviously, because it's a spin-off. I'll do it like this. MASH. From 1983. Yep, 83. Hold on. There. Just don't want it to expand a little anymore for now. Doesn't necessarily need to yet. Because obviously, look at this. A lot of empty space down here. Doesn't really matter, just whatever. Another show connecting to MASH is called Trapper John MD. It is another spin-off of MASH. Kind of. There was some legal issues. Something they said that creators of the show told the courts or something that it was based off the movie MASH, not the show, but it connects more to the show than it did the movie. So, canonically, it's a spin-off of the show. Legally, of the movie. $1979. Here we go. And now up here, I believe. No, yeah, right here. Oh boy. Shoot. Excuse me. Stop that. Give me this. There. Because there's stuff that's connecting to the Bob Newhart show. The Bob Newhart show. Kind of connects to Newhart. You'll see why I say kind of in a second. Or, I guess right now, because I'm going to explain it right now. In the finale of Newhart, it was shown that the events of Newhart from 1982 only happened in the mind of the main character, in the dreams of the main character from the Bob Newhart show. So technically it doesn't happen in the same reality. So I'm not going to be connecting anything else from this to the rest of this, this is kind of temporary until and if I can connect it to something else. But anything else that connects to this, I will not be adding. And this is kind of the same thing with the next show I'm connecting, I Dream of Jeannie. Because there was a kind of epilogue episode for the Bob Newhart show that happened after the reveal on Newhart that went more into depth about the ending, and also had one of the characters from I Dream of Jeannie on there who basically confirmed that the events of I Dream of Jeannie were also only a dream of his. So, again, very reluctantly adding this here until I can or will add it on later, somewhere else. $19.65. Make this lower. But then there is one that isn't just a dream, connecting from Bob Newhart's show to another of Bob Newhart's shows called Bob. A dentist, the Jerry Robinson, a dentist from the Bob Newhart show, shows up on this show, Bob. And it's obvious that for some reason the dentist looked kind of like, is that guy? No, can't be. So, that's basically confirmation enough. It's the same character, recognizes the guy who looks like the guy he knows, because it's the same actor that plays both characters, Bob and Bob. I don't think this connects to anything else, so just putting it down here should be fine. And then, lastly, Bob Newhart show connects to the show called Murphy Brown. Bob Hartley from the Bob Newhart show, I was trying to think of his name, and his receptionist, Carol, show up on Murphy Brown. And that's about it to connect it into the same reality, obviously. Murphy Brown from 1988. And that's it. Tell me what you guys think. Tell me if you agree with my decision to keep those just off separately for now. If I should connect it, if I should include it, or if I should just get rid of it for now until I find something later, if I find something later. But that'll be it for now. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and leave a like on the video. If you didn't, there's another button for that. If you want to see more of this in future episodes, go and hit subscribe, ring the bell, be notified whenever I upload. So far, this has only been on Fridays, not every Friday, because last Friday I wasn't done with the notes. Whatever. If you have any other suggestions for shows, or just go ahead and tell me I'm wrong, or if I'm right about different things on this chart in the comments down below. But until next time, hope you have a nice day. Bye.